area. Tiger Talk is brought to you by Whistle Stop Donuts, String Beans Coffee House, Mrs. McLovett's Cupcakes on Lower Main in Princeton, Hancock's Neighborhood Market on Commerce Street in Cadiz, delicious homemade goodness, and Perry's Floors and More.
Make the morning great with a stop at Whistle Stop Donuts on West Main Street in Princeton. Whistle Stop makes their donuts fresh daily, and they're ready on your way to work or school. They have a wide variety of fresh donuts, so you can surprise the office with a dozen delicious donuts. And remember, after 11 a.m., donuts are only $5 per dozen through August 8th. Stop by Whistle Stop today and enjoy a donut or a dozen. They're open 5 a.m. to noon, Monday through Saturday. Whistle Stop Donuts on West Main in Princeton.
And at 8:30, good morning, and it's time now for Tiger Talk, and I have the pleasure of welcoming into the WPKY studios Wewsley Curtis. How are you?
Fine, sir. How about you?
I'm wonderful. Boy, it's hard to not be fine on a morning like today, isn't it?
I could take this every day
I could too.
if it just stay like this.
Hey, this is about perfect. And well, welcome to the studio here, and glad you're here. And you popped in the other day and said, when are we going to talk about the gospel singing coming up? And I said, well, when you want to talk about it? We picked today. But let's first talk about you, Wewsley, and your interest in gospel music. And we'll kind of go from there and tell the folks what's going on around Princeton during Black Patch and some of the other things that you've done.
Well, my interest in gospel music is probably like everybody else's growing up listening to it.
Yeah.
I remember a little bit the morning shows on Sunday mornings, like the Gospel Music Jubilee and all that.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Growing up listening to some of that and just, got attached to it and stuff. So that's kind of how my interest started and just, hasn't left it. It's always been part of my life, so.
It's good stuff, man.
It
Four-part
is
harmonies.
It is. 4-part harmony and just amazing, to listen to.
Yeah, and when you hear a fine group really hitting those harmonies, I mean, there's nothing like it.
Yeah, it's nothing like it.
And then the lyrics to the songs and what they're singing, there's nothing like that either.
There's nothing like it. I mean, it's a message in itself.
That's right. So your interest is you just got hooked on it, just like somebody gets hooked on rock and roll or rap or anything else.
Right. Which I mean, I like other types, country
yeah, sure.
and stuff. But if somebody really asks me, gospel's.
No, that's it.
Gospel's number one.
Well, and with that love of gospel music, and you started, several years ago, where you thought, I'm gonna see if I can get some of these groups in here to Princeton.
Right.
And tell us a little bit more about how that all got started.
Well, I mean, it's 13 years. We started,
You must have started when you were 12 or 13.
Well, kind of stuff. It seems like that.
Yeah.
But, no, it's just been, there wasn't a lot of gospel taken apart during the Black Patch and festival. So it kind of was laid on my heart, and the first year we had an area group and a local group.
So you went to Roy Jean and the Optimist, the membership, and said, hey, I'd like to take this on.
As well, this was something that the club done several years ago, but kind of a bad situation happened out of that, and they kind of pushed it to the side.
Mm-hmm.
And it was something that I felt like Lord was leaning on me to try to get it started.
You bring it back.
Bring it back, and it has taken off to where it's at today because of that 13 years. And so it's just an amazing to see.
It takes a little while to build things, doesn't it?
It takes a little while, and I never thought it would take off the way it has.
You know the old song, Working on a Building?
Working on
There we go. That's kind of what it's like.
We worked on it, and now it's becoming now the biggest event.
I like the Bill Monroe version of that.
That's exactly.
Well, tell us now, coming up on Black Patch Saturday at First Baptist Church at 6 o'clock. Great group coming in here. Who is that?
The Nealons will be coming this year. No stranger to Princeton.
No.
They've been here before.
Right.
It's been a couple of years, but also they've been part of a movie was filmed here.
Oh, really?
In Princeton.
Tell us about that.
I don't know all the details, but I know they were out at the Boses out there on.
Oh yeah,
62,
yeah.
And filming a faith movie and stuff. So they're no stranger to Princeton. They know that the summertime and the weather out this way. So, but the Nealons have been around for many years in gospel music, numerous awards, numerous #1 songs. Last year, they were just inducted into the Gospel Music Hall of Fame.
Okay.
So that's a big honor to get mentioned with other groups that have been out there. So they're a little different. They're mostly a Southern gospel, but also they'll add some country gospel and bluegrass.
Little contemporary stuff in there.
As well, a little contemporary, but they're just a great family. They love to worship the Lord, and it's an honor to have them coming to Princeton.
Sure, and that's going to be at 6 o'clock that Saturday night down at First Baptist Church.
Yes.
300. Is it cost anything to get in?
It does not cost anything to get in. 13 years ago, we played with this, that let's try not to charge admission, because I feel like if you charge admission, you won't get a lot of people.
Yeah. What a great show to
free,
walk down the street and walk in the church and check it out.
And that's what we decided, when we planned it, if there's so many events going on during that 6 o'clock period, that if you want to come listen to music for a little bit, and then you're free to leave and go back to the fair itself.
I bet once you show up, though, they're so good, you don't want to leave.
They don't leave.
As long as you show up and just...
You show up, most of them,
let your ears go to work, right?
That's exactly right.
Let's take a little break, and let's come back. We'll talk about the Nealons and where they're from, and maybe talk a little bit more about some of the other groups, you've had, and then what, people can expect with Black Patch and your involvement with that and the Optimist Club. And we'll come back here in just a moment. We're talking to Wewsley Curtis. Wewsley has booked the Nealons for Black Patch Night, part of the Black Patch Heritage Festival. It's the 13th annual Black Patch Gospel Singing, and that is at 6 o'clock on Saturday night, September the 9th. First Baptist Church, 300 West Main Street in Princeton. We'll be back to talk with Wewsley after we take this String Beans coffee break and Mrs. McLovett's cupcake break. Back in a moment on Tiger Talk. String Beans Coffee House in downtown Princeton specializes in made-to-order espresso drinks, hot, over ice, or frozen. They serve lunch Tuesday through Friday from 11 to 2. Like them on Facebook to view their weekly menu. They also rent out the back room for birthday parties, anniversary parties, and baby showers. That's String Beans Coffee House, 108 East Main Street, Princeton. Give them a call, 270-365-0550. Shh! It's Princeton's best-kept secret. Pardon me?
Mrs. McLovett's Cupcakes in downtown Princeton. It's truly the best-kept secret in Princeton. Come down and enjoy a delicious homemade cupcake made from scratch and only from the finest ingredients. While downtown, enjoy a sweet treat on the patio in front of our shop. It's a delightful way to spend a moment with a friend or someone you love. Check out Instagram and Facebook for the Mrs. McLovett's Flavor of the Week. Mrs. McLovett's Cupcakes on Lower Main in Princeton, where there's always room for a cupcake. Phone 270-963-2544 to place an order.
And at 8:39, we're back here with Wewsley Curtis. Here in the WPKY studios, we are talking gospel singing. We're specifically talking about Black Patch Gospel Singing that's coming up Saturday night, September the 9th, down at First Baptist Church for the Black Patch Heritage Festival. It's the 13th annual gospel sing, if I can get it out here. But Wewsley, you've got the Nealons booked at First Baptist Church. Tell us a little bit more about the Nealons, where they're from, and that kind of thing.
Well, the Nealons are from around the Georgia area, in the state of Georgia, and like I said, been around for many, many years, and it started out as a family group. Rex Nealon, who's a Hall of Famer, and he's now gone on home to be with the Lord, but he wanted a family. A singing family,
yeah,
and just like a lot of the groups that are,
a lot of that starts in
it
gospel.
starts in a family,
yeah.
And so he's like I said, been around for many years in groups, singing bass and everything. Started a family group, and his daughter Kelly, who's taken on the family tradition of gospel music. So it's Kelly and her husband Jason, and then their two daughters, Autumn and Amanda.
Okay.
And stuff. So they are just.
Well, I saw the show bill picture of them, and I figured it was all family. I didn't know the connection there.
Yeah, it's family and stuff. So it was just opportunity to have them come back to Princeton.
Yeah.
Like I said, they've been to Princeton before as part of the evangelism conference that our Baptist Association here put on every year, and they really brought the house down that night.
I bet.
And at Southside, so I was just well pleased and just fell in love with them and stuff. And I love some of their songs. I mean, like going back to the
early days.
The
yeah.
early days
Yeah.
and stuff.
And they still do them, I guess.
They still do them.
Yeah.
Still do them and doing some of the new songs today too. So it's just amazing.
Tell us about your involvement with gospel music in general. I know you've been several times to the Quartet Convention that used to be held in Louisville. I think it's over in the mountains now. Is that
It's
in Pigeon Forge?
Yeah. It's, in fact, this year's their 60th anniversary of the National Quartet Convention this year.
Wow. Are you going?
Going the last Thursday, Friday, and Saturday of this week, that weekend.
What date?
It's the last week in September.
Okay. I knew it was pretty close.
It's pretty close. I always enjoyed it when it was in Louisville. I can get up on Saturday morning, drive a couple hours, and spend the day up there seeing all the groups that I love and worked with, and got to hang out with them. And,
sure.
And so I kind of miss it now. I got to go all the way to Pigeon Forge, which that ain't a bad
no
trip, but it's just a little longer and stuff.
And it's a place where you can network, I guess, in it, and talk to these groups and
mostly I've dealt with two of the music groups agencies.
Okay.
Many of the groups have an agent, like any.
Right.
Like
a lot of them based out of Nashville, aren't they? Yeah.
Mostly out of Nashville and stuff. So they are great to work with. I can call them up and say, this is our budget. Who's available to come in? And I never have thought the groups that we've had in the last 13 years, we've had some of the top of the line groups have come to Princeton, and not only that, but come back, not just for Black Patch, but another event or whatever. Another event, or just coming through the area, you need a place to stop. So
it seems to me too that gospel artists and quartets like that, they're a little bit more approachable. I mean, they tend to mingle with the fans a little bit more than some artists in other genres, because I don't know if it's necessarily they're just as popular if the people that like them, but it just seems like it's just more hometown and more personable with those groups.
I've heard several groups say that gospel music, Southern gospel music, is a big family, and that's what it is. I mean, we've heard stories of groups that have went through trials and situations. I know, the Bowling family, for example, who was out here this weekend for SoulQuest, they were in a major bus accident several years ago.
I think I remember that.
And they're lucky to even be alive if you see the pictures of the bus and stuff. But that's something. And when they were down, the gospel music community came together and supported them and helped them get through that time. Another group that I think of is that I'm good friends with. There are the Perrys out of Tennessee. Tracy Stubble, who 4 years ago suffered a major stroke. The man should not be here today, but a lot of friends and people pulled together and prayed and
rallied around
him, and now he's able to sing again.
Yeah, that's something.
So it's just amazing. In fact, when they were here 2 years ago for Black Patch, I'll never forget it. I asked Troy Peach, the baritone singer for the Perrys, I asked him, I said, how's Tracy doing? He said, Wesley, you ain't going to believe this, but he's on the bus and everything. He said, middle of the week, he was in the hospital with some complications. And Friday night he got out of the hospital, and he looked at his wife and the group and said, "Let's go to the bus." Well, they thought, "Well, Tracy, are you sure?" He said, "Yep, I'm sure." He said, "I want to go sing this weekend."
Wow.
In fact, he said it this way. He said, "I'm especially going to Princeton to see Wesley."
Isn't that something?
And
He made it.
enough, he made it.
Yeah.
And he sung.
He performed.
He performed.
Wow.
And stuff.
That's
so
fantastic.
It's just amazing,
It is. And you can tell your passion for this. Recently, I think you had Gold City in the area. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And they were up in a church up in Dawson.
Dawson,
yeah.
Dunn Baptist Church there in Dawson.
Yeah.
That was the second time this year I booked
I was thinking. Yeah.
Gold City. And I never thought I would ever do that.
You're right.
One of the legendary group names.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, that's
been around. They're actually this year they're celebrating their 31 years in gospel music, and you talking about the number one songs they got.
Oh yeah, I remember when I worked at the WPKY back in the '80s. Man, I was spinning Gold City on Sunday mornings. We had them on records, and it was good stuff.
It's good stuff.
It is good stuff,
and it's just amazing. So, but yeah, Gold City we've had. We had the Kingsmen here several times in Princeton at different places. It's just the who's of gospel music.
And it's neat that they're willing to come, and then you're making those contacts, and then as you work with some groups, and they say, well, yeah, Wesley's good to work with, and you might want to check out this little town that he's bringing these groups to. What do you have anything in the works after Black Patch at this point? You in the planning stage for anything, or it's just kind of hits you as you go?
Well, it just kind of hits me as I go and stuff. I mean, as of right now, the next big thing is Black Patch for next year. I'm not letting the cat out of the bag just yet.
But you're working on it already.
It's pretty much a done deal.
Okay.
We know who's coming.
Great.
We're just going to save it the night of Black Patch to let everybody know. So if you want to find out who's coming for the 14th annual.
So you are going to let it out the night of Black Patch.
The night of Black Patch and stuff. There's a few that's already know, but like I said, we're just
keeping it hush hush.
Keeping it hush hush and stuff. So.
That's great. Well, I know it's a lot of fun. I've booked a group before, and it's kind of neat to work with those people. And then when you call and you think, okay, they're never going to come for this,
right?
And then you tell them, and they say, yeah, I think we can make that work. Man, it gives you a rush, you know, and you get so excited because, and I know you're like everybody else. I know this is what I always felt. It's like I want people to kind of shake their heads and, I can't believe they came to Princeton.
Right.
That's kind of what you want. I can't believe they came to Princeton.
And stuff. Well, that's like last year we had Jeff and Sherry Easter, who's well known and stuff and around this area. I mean, people travel.
Sure.
If there's such and such miles, they're going to travel to see them and stuff. And that was a group that I never thought I would ever get here. Because it's, this is their lifestyle. This is what they survive on, is traveling and stuff. And
they work hard. I mean, they travel many days out of the year.
Groups travel. I know the first of the year, the first Sunday of this year, we had Gold City on at Midway. And I asked them, I said, how many dates you travel a year? Yeah. And they say, 250, 300 dates a year. Out of 365 plus a leap year, whenever that is. They're on the road. They leave their families and go and share the gospel and stuff. With Jeff and Sherry, I've had a lot of people come up to me and ask me about getting them to come to Princeton. And it was just either it just never wasn't working out. Until I went to a convention a couple of years ago down in Pigeon Forge and talked to their agent and laid out what we have to. This is what we can do. Is it a possibility? Who can we get? And when they said that their name, I thought, well, here's the opportunity.
This is it.
And last year was probably our biggest attendance and event of the singing. Was Jeff and Sherry.
Yeah.
I mean,
big name, though.
Big name and stuff.
But but they're all big names.
And they're all big names and stuff. But, I mean, the outpouring, of people.
Yeah.
I mean, and to have it back into sanctuary after the damage to the sanctuary from the
Yes, yes.
snowstorm, and we moved it over to the Life Center, which
Center.
it was great to have. But
And it will be in the sanctuary
it
this year.
will be in the sanctuary, and the
And
sound in the sanctuary.
Yeah, what a great place, yes.
It's just the acoustics in there are just amazing and
Yeah.
stuff. So
Yeah, it works out really well. We have quite a little. We've got a few folks that sing gospel locally, don't we? A few gospel singers and
We
folks.
do.
Of course, we got a lot of churches, so
Right.
a lot of people raised up in church and they sing in church, and that's how they get their start singing. But we've got a few that travel a little bit, maybe sing
Right,
locally.
right.
And who's off the top of your head? Not to put you on the spot or anybody else, but I know.
Well, I mean, I think of me and my sister Krista.
yeah.
We do a lot of singing.
I saw you did, yeah.
We've done that. We've been doing that for about close to 15 years
Yeah.
now. And
And it's just you two. You guys are a
just us
duo,
two,
aren't you? Yeah.
just a duo. As well, some of us has been asking if we ever going to get a quartet started and stuff. And it may be in the works. Don't know.
Okay.
And stuff with Krista married off now. And,
Yes.
and 2 stepgirls and one on the way.
One on the way. I saw that. Yeah.
So maybe the quartet was in the future. Don't know. We'll just have to see that.
And y'all sing at local churches around.
We
don't you?
sing in local churches and around the area, and a lot of people come up to ask, when y'all going to do a CD and stuff. Well, we don't know yet. That may be somewhere down the line too. So we'll
Good.
just have to see that and everything. You mentioned Eddie Boone.
Yeah.
Eddie's a great singer and stuff.
He's a bass man.
He's a bass man
Yep.
and stuff. I can't get that low.
I can't either.
And
I'm a
stuff.
tenor.
I'm a high lead singer,
Yep.
so. But Eddie, but there's a lot of groups. Charity's Promise is another group that's well known around here.
Yes.
So, another part that I do is I'm the music consultant for our Baptist Association here.
Okay.
And I've said this many times. We have a lot of great talent in our association, and that
No doubt.
that boils down to a lot. I mean, if it's just a one person, a choir or group, we have a lot of great talent in our association, and we should be blessed by that.
No doubt.
That
There's a lot of
anybody-
talent in this town.
exactly.
And not just in your association. There's a lot of singing talent and musical talent,
Exactly.
instrumentalists. I mean, there's a lot of talent here.
I mean, and it's not dealing with just Southern gospel too. I mean, we're talking bluegrass. And,
Oh, yeah.
It's with Lonzo and Eddie and
Yeah.
them, and it's just amazing.
Got a lot of closet musicians
We
too.
got a lot of closet musicians.
Yeah, and it's pretty neat because every once in a while they'll come out and they'll play something and it just blows you
You're
away,
right, like-
and then you won't see them again.
Like, like they can come out of the closet.
Yeah,
and stuff.
but it's really cool when
Yes.
when that does happen.
Yeah.
But it's always great to if you have an outlet to express yourself, if you do have a talent, it's always great to especially when you're singing gospel music
Right.
and it's praise.
You're right.
It's pretty neat.
I've told it as a minister too. I tell them, I said, singing is just preaching the gospel, and just like a preacher stands up on Sunday morning or any time in the pulpit and preaches the word, that's what singing does, and that's what these groups do. They're traveling and sharing the gospel.
Sure.
And everything, and you could, I've seen people get saved at a gospel concert.
Oh, yeah.
And how, and there was not a preacher preaching and stuff.
Well, sometimes music can touch your heart different than
Exactly.
than just hearing the spoken word.
Exactly.
People get touched in different ways. So
Exactly.
sometimes it's by music and sometimes it's by the spoken word or just
Right.
the word.
That's
But,
exactly right.
but,
Whatever the way it gets out,
yeah.
it works.
Definitely. Well, let's summarize again. We've got the Neelands coming to town for the
Right.
13th annual Black Patch Gospel Singing. That is Saturday night, September the 9th, First Baptist Church, and it'll be in the Sanctuary, 300 West Main Street. And will it just be the Neelands that night?
Just be the Neelands
Okay.
that night. We have done it when we had somebody open from, but I think to get our money's worth, let's
Just feature that one group.
Just feature that one group.
And they'll sing a good hour, won't they, or so?
I've seen them sung almost close
Almost
to
2 hours. Yeah,
2
that's what I was saying. It's usually an
That's
hour,
what-
hour and a half at least.
We started at 6 o'clock. We try to end around 8.
Yeah.
That give people time for those who travel, and we have a lot of people come through this area
Sure.
from
Some people just come for the singing.
just come for the singing and stuff. So to give them to get home in time, because we don't want to affect on Sunday mornings
Right.
crowds and stuff. And that if they miss church because of gospel singing.
8 o'clock still pretty early. Yeah.
8 o'clock is plenty of time to get home.
Get settled in.
Get settled in and stuff. So, and the biggest thing is the admission is free.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
We will take up a love offering.
Okay.
And it will go towards next year's singing. The one thing that I can say a big thanks to is area churches and individuals that have give towards this year's singing.
Yeah.
That's how we.
That's how you bring them here.
That's how we bring them here.
Yeah.
And
yeah, that's good that we mentioned that because I didn't know how it all worked out, and of course I knew you took up the love offering during the singing for next year, but there are other things that happens to get this going.
It starts, whatever we get this year. It's the start towards the next year. We'll have a few things that'll come out of it to finish up this year.
Okay.
But the rest of the time, we raise churches give whatever they feel like giving, and it go towards the group and everything for next year. So.
All right, well, we're excited, and I think it ought to be a great night of gospel music and worship, and that'll be at First Baptist Church, and that is Saturday night, September 9th. It is the 13th annual Black Patch Gospel Singing, and that is in conjunction with our Black Patch Heritage Festival here in town. That's going on all day long Saturday. We, of course, got a parade that kicks everything off Friday night the 8th, and then it'll be downtown Princeton, the place to be, Saturday, September the 9th. Of course, WPKY will be downtown that day as well, and look forward to that great concert by the Nealons at First Baptist Church. Thank you, Wesley, and appreciate what you do. It's fantastic that somebody is taking the reins on this thing and getting these fine groups here.
I appreciate the radio station for all their hard work. You guys do an amazing job getting the word out. We appreciate it. I mean, we're lucky to have a radio station like that and stuff. And I got to put a plug in for the Sunday mornings. I really enjoy the music part. When I'm traveling somewhere to preach or sing somewhere, I can turn it on and
there you are. And even if you're away, you put in your TuneIn app or whatever, we're streaming over the internet as well. So and we've got a good little Sunday lineup, and we'll always take more if somebody wants to be a part of it. Just give me a call here at the station, and music or if you want to get on and put a show on, we'll listen. So thank you, Wesley, so much. Appreciate what you do. And that is Wewsley Curtis, and Wesley books groups and has booked a good one for this year's Black Patch Heritage Festival, the Gospel Singing, 6 o'clock, First Baptist Church. This is a free concert, so just come on down and check out the Nealons in concert Saturday night, September 9th, 6 p.m. at First Baptist Church. Thank you again, Wesley, for being here. That's going to wrap up Tiger Talk on this Thursday edition at 8:57. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Hancock's Neighborhood Market on Commerce Street in Cadiz is the place to shop for delicious homemade